Hello, welcome back to the vlog. Well, today I thought I would make some soup in order to take to the allotment when I go and visit tomorrow. I've sort of had a bit of a revelation recently with the cost of food going up and the cost of quite a lot of stuff going up. I've had a look at my finances because I need to make some cutbacks. And it just dawned on me the other day while I was having a chat to somebody about this concept of making something big that you can eat on the day and then save for the next day, because I usually cook fresh every day. So I sat down and I thought, yes, if you do that, you've really only got to make 3 meals a week, because I'm not bothered about eating the same thing, for a few days. I'm all about eating for the energy rather than eating for the enjoyment of things. Talking about enjoyment of things, I think we better kick it off with a cup of tea. What do you think to my new mug? It was a birthday gift. That's a bit cold. I need to make a fresh one. Right, what are we going to do today? Unfortunately, I have left my tripod at the allotment and my spare tripod is at the garden. So I haven't got one for the house and they're too expensive to buy. So I'm going to make a soup today with some veg that I've got off the greengrocer, and also a ingredient that not a lot of people like apparently. So the first thing I need is some carrots. So I'm interested to hear what sort of soups and stews can you suggest that I can make a few once a week, say, and that are good for putting in the fridge, and even things that may be quite good for putting in the freezer and I can use about a week later. So I've got to keep an eye on the camera in case it falls off the table, because it's just leaning against a pot. Anyway, people have got worse things to worry about than that, haven't we all? So yes, carrots will be straight from the allotment in a few months, but for the time being, the old grocer is getting our business. When it comes to food, another change that I've made recently is I used to like to buy my fruit fresh every day. So my blueberries, my raspberries, my strawberries. Because as much as I try to live within the seasons, for my breakfast I do like a bit of fruit. And it was getting a bit expensive. I'm starting that I couldn't afford it. I forgot what that was then. There is no Swede in this, but I may put one in anyway. So what I've done is I've started buying frozen, and the flavour is actually a lot better than buying them fresh. Plus it's a lot cheaper. And I've done this thing with the fridge, with the freezer. In fact, let me take you over there to show you before I start on the onion and start crying. Look what I've done. I've bought a load of these boxes. So there's my blueberries, raspberries. What's in there? Peas. Peas are in there. Rather than having all those bags, I just quite like that, and there's space for a few more boxes to go in as well. Maybe in a few months when I bring my tripod back from the garden, or I bite the bullet and I buy a new one, I may refilm this just to make sure that the recipe is given justice. So how are you finding life at the moment? Are you starting to make cutbacks? There's a bit of a 1940s vibe going on with a lot of people recently. Make do and mend, cutting back on their meals. It does feel like the world's going backwards, not going forwards. But after the last 2 years, at least the world is starting to turn again. It's hard to believe that I actually did cooking in school. I'm sorry that you can't see what I'm actually doing here. I'm just chopping an onion, because I'm going to pop that into this large saucepan with my wooden spoon. I do love a wooden spoon, these old things. We can't let these traditions die. Switch this on. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to simmer these onions for a little bit until they become translucent. Put a little bit of oil in. I have only got olive oil, so that will have to do. I was in the local cafe the other day and she was quite tearful. She's going, oh, my prices are going up and I've got to put things up and I don't want to do it. And I said, no, that's fine. You do what you need to do and I'll do what I need to do. So the meal that I had was £10.50. Let me put this in the bin. The meal that I had was £10.50, which was a salad and a chicken with chips and things. And even at the time I sort of thought, this is on the high end of expensive for what it was, but I thought, no, that's fine. I like going out to the cafe and having a chat to people, just see what everybody is up to. So she did this speech. Tomatoes have gone up. Box of tomatoes is usually £5-6. They're now £15. Oil has gone up as well. The stuff that they cook with, because the oil usually comes from the Ukraine apparently. So, and you know, they've got a few issues going on there. So there's no oil. So I said, that's fine. You put the price up and, you know, whatever. I wasn't expecting it to go from £10.50 to £16.50. I thought that was a bit much, but if that's what they've got to do, that's what they've got to do. But unfortunately, I can't keep up that support. So I haven't been there for the last week. And I guess that is the problem now. We've all got to have a look at ourselves and let me just check that the gas is on. Otherwise we'll be blowing up. And what a video that will make. So yeah, so we've all got to make changes to our lives. Right, so that is on and that is translucent. So I'm going to get on and cut the potatoes. Now I bought these potatoes, look at them, salad ones, and they are called, what are they called? Let me go and have a look at the bin, because there's a reason why I want to tell you. They are called Alexandra salad potatoes, and they're absolutely melt in the mouth, creamy, beautiful. I've never tasted a potato that has tasted so wonderfully, and even better when they're cold. So I might have a look next year and see if they are available. From what I'm reading, this year we might have to also start to save our own seed. A lot of people were saying to me that they were having problems in securing enough seed for the garden, and a lot of their favourite varieties they couldn't get. So maybe to help out the seed merchant, although it's not helping them out because if we're not giving them any money, but we need to look after ourselves. So they are sweating down, but I haven't actually told you what sort of menu this is. It is a corned beef stew. I do love a bit of corned beef, but I don't have it that often. Reduced salt, and I don't know if they have these. Do they have these in the States? These tins where you take the key off the top and you pop the key in the side and you open the tin like this. Give it a turn. Some people think this is quite a difficult thing to do, but you just turn it like that. Usually it doesn't fall off, and there it is. Now what I was surprised about this corned beef is I bought it in my local Tesco store down in the high street, and I couldn't find it. I searched the shelves, I couldn't find it. I asked the security guard, did he know where it was? And he said, oh, that's one of the products that is behind the counter. So corned beef and spam are apparently the most popular products to steal at the moment. So they keep them behind the counter. So you have to go like up and say, excuse me, can I have a tin of corned beef, please? And you've got to check that it is corned beef, because she got mixed up and she gave me a spam. But I just found it was quite an interesting thing that it was hidden behind the counter, and you had to ask, as if you were going in to buy drugs or something. You know, back in the 1940s, when they used to say, you used to go down the pub, and a guy in a raincoat would turn up and go, do you want to buy an onion? Petrol coupon, sir. So those onions are sweating away beautifully. The smell here is gorgeous. And now I'm going to put the corned beef in. I can hear the people saying, oh, I wouldn't eat that. But the thing is, if this makes 2 meals and helps me to reduce the amount of money that I haven't got to spend, then sometimes I can't look a gift horse in the mouth. During the 1940s, sometimes they'd say, if you had a sausage, sometimes you didn't know what was in the sausage, and it could actually end up to be a bit of horse. Now I know a lot of people would think that's a far-fetched story. That would never happen. But if you remember, when was it? 8 years ago, where there was a popular UK meal, crispy, what was it called? Crispy Findus pancakes or something like that. And it turned out that there was horse meat, or there was a meat in it that wasn't the meat that was said on the box. So these things can actually happen. Now, what am I going to do now? I want to do some beef stock. So I'm going to pour 1 1/4 pints of water. So we'll put this 1 pint straight in there. And if you're in America, this is 5.5 cups. Put another 1/4 in. And into this I am putting OXO cubes. And I was watching something on TV that apparently we've all been doing this wrong. You're supposed to do this. You undo the bits of plastic. And you're watching, you're going to be amazed. And apparently the idea is you crush it within the actual container like that, and then you open the top and just pour it into the soup or whatever. Now, I didn't mean to put it straight into there. I was going to put it into there. So the traditional way would be to open it up and to bother around with taking all this peel off. But I thought that was a very good way of doing it. Plus, if you do it the way that I just did it there, you're going to have less stuff all over your hands. So maybe that is the future of doing it. Did you know that? That's what I want to know. Every day is school day, as they say. So, let me just mix that up a bit. This does feel as if I am producing the world's most boring YouTube video, just for the fact that I'm not changing the shots. It's just because I've worked in TV and I've been accustomed to doing different shots and everything. It just feels a bit bizarre not to be doing it. And then I'm going to put the potatoes in. I don't know how many I did. Put as many as you want to in, I suppose. Like I said, this is not necessarily a tutorial video. It's just showing you what I get up to. So let me just show you what it looks like so far. There we go. So I'm going to boil this now for about 10 minutes. And in that time, I think I'll have another cup of tea. I'm also going to add the carrots. Just put that on top like that, because it does save on the gas if you put the lid on, because it will cook a bit quicker. Right, that cup of tea. This is why I go to cafes, because when you cook from home, look at all the mess that you make with it. So while that's cooking for 10 minutes, I thought I'd bring you out and see what's going on in the home garden. I've noticed that the bluebells have come out, and I would imagine these are the Spanish ones. I'm a bit unfamiliar to what the English native ones look like, to be honest with you. We're so used to seeing the Spanish ones. And I know that up in Epping Forest, they are out in Chalet Wood, which is a wood that I went to last year on one of my rambles, and I'll put a link to that video below. I was hoping to get back there this year, just to go and see them again. But the weather recently has been rather dull, like today. And there's a bit of a nip in the air, and it's not the type of weather where you want to be out and about. Look at this great oak here. This was the boundary oak between this borough and the next borough, and it's great to see it coming back into leaf. I wonder how old that is. Oak trees is one of those things that just blows my mind when you start thinking about what that tree has seen and how this area has changed. And I would imagine it was probably fields, and there were lots more of these oaks, because the Great North Wood is only about 5 minutes from my house, which we've been to before, and I'll put some video links to those videos in the description below as well. So these trees would have been all over the place. And we should be lucky that they left one or two of them behind so we could still appreciate them. Right, let's go and do a bit of stirring. Beautiful smells. So something else that we need to prepare while that is simmering is, and I do love this, cauliflower. I do love a cauliflower, especially a, oh no, that's, I was going to say especially a Savoy, but that is a cabbage, isn't it? But look at that. If you have cauliflowers in your garden or your allotment and you find that they blow and don't create a heart as good as this, that is because the ground is probably not firm enough. If you think that a small seedling has to get its roots into the ground to produce all this, it really has to grab hold of the soil in order to push all this out. So when you put your plants in, when you think the ground is hard enough, walk over it again. Walk over it a few times, in fact, to make absolutely sure that it is solid. I'm just going to cut this up because this will all mush down in the soup. I do like a chunky soup, I must say. So there we go. I have on occasions cooked that bit as well. So that's not going into the soup just yet. We just pop it in there. Because now we need to get the vinegar ready. And I want to know, has anybody heard of this before? Apple cider vinegar with the mother. What happened to the father? That's broken families for you, I guess. But I've heard that apple cider vinegar is very good for the body, but I'm not quite sure in what sense. It says on the side to mix 3 tablespoons in 200 milliliters of water and just take it in the morning. So do you use apple cider vinegar? If you do, tell me in those comments below, because I'd be interested to have a chat with you. Right, this is how prepared I am. Look at my salt and pepper. Ready to go in. So, let's start mixing. So into the bowl, I'm going to put the cauliflower, the salt and pepper, and where's my... We need, according to the old recipe, because I am actually following something, it just says vinegar. I haven't put the amount down. So let's just put a little bit in, shall we? There we go, that's probably too much. And now we will cook this for 10 minutes, but what I like to do is just to press it all in. Make sure that the cauliflower, oh, that vinegar has certainly enhanced the smell in the kitchen, yeah? In the old farmhouse kitchen. So there we go. Pop a lid on that and leave it for another 10 minutes. I wonder if I've got any post. Did you see that? When I build my shed at the end of the year, because I'm going to replace the one that I've got to something bigger, I would love to put a bit of stained glass in. Maybe in the autumn, depending on the price of it, I might sign up for one of these stained glass classes. No post today. Let's have a look what the lie of the land is out here. Oh, it is cold. I like to come out and just have a look at the activity in the park, see if anything's going on. All the daffodils are now finished and not a lot of people out. If you've got a herb garden and you're going to plant a bit of bay, just be aware that if you don't look after it and you don't trim it back, it could get as big as this. Well, this is a bay tree and it goes all the way up there. It's absolutely huge. But I don't use bay. Very rarely do I use it. So I don't come out, and I don't think the people in the park know, because I never see people picking it as they go past. Looks like it's coming into flower now. Talking about flower, we should get back to the cooking. See, there are bluebells in the front garden here as well. Amongst the raspberries. It's very nice to come out of a morning and pick a raspberry or two. And look, again, there's more bay. There's more bay than the Bay of Biscay. Oh, the smell as you come in, it is wonderful. So there we are. You can see us in the makeup. I'm also in a pair of shorts today. Wait, look at that. Nobody kneels. This is what I was using to put the camera on. Oh, look at that. Give that a bit of a stir. Another thing I do sometimes, but I haven't got any today, is I put a few little tablespoons of mint sauce in. I love a bit of mint sauce. Look at that. I've just added a bit more water in, just so that all the veg is covered. But now I need to fill the kettle. We have this bizarre thing in this house. Don't tell me about it. Go and speak to the landlord. Where you've got to come in here, come into the laundry. Oh, bit blue. Hold on. Let me go back out again. That's better. You've got to come into the laundry in order to get drinking water. It's because we have one of these systems here for putting salt, and I don't like drinking it with all that salt in it. I don't even put salt into my food. The fact that I've put a tiny bit into today's food is a rare thing. So I do feel like as if we're going down the river sometimes to go and get the water. So let's just close that, because if cats lick salt, apparently they can die. This is why I have put my rock salt lamp away, just in case. Oh, I'm exhausted. So I'm going to make a cup of tea now. Thing with not having a tripod and having to hold the camera, if I ever do go back to the gym, I'm going to only have to work this hand, because this one is getting quite a workout by just holding the camera. Oh, so what is everybody up to? So like I've said before in a video last week, I think, like today is a bit of a crap video as far as I'm concerned, the way it's filmed, but what I'm going to do moving forward is go back to my 3 videos a week. So we'll have a vlog on a Wednesday, which is whatever. Today's a bit of cooking. Next week it could be going out and about somewhere, and then we'll do a bit of gardening on a Friday, and then on a Sunday we'll go for a ramble somewhere. And I've got some interesting places lined up. Now that the weather's getting better, it's quite a pleasure to get out. I had a comment asking me to go and visit a particular village, but when I looked, it was 30 miles away. And again, because we're trying to keep costs down, I'm trying to stay within the Greater London border, because I can use what we have, these cards here where you just swipe a card called an Oyster card, and if you travel all day and your fare is like 15 or 20 pound, you only pay, I think it's £8.50. So there's a cap on how much they can take off you per day. So I've got 3 tablespoons of corn flour here. I'm going to put some water in with it. This is just to thicken up the soup. And while I was looking in the fridge for some milk for tea, I found some mint sauce. So I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of that in as well. So I'll just put the mint sauce in like that. I'll just stir that up in a minute. And I will also add the corn flour in as well. I've just lowered the heat to a simmering boil, and I'll show you what it looks like. There we have it. And the smell here, oh, just put the heat back on. When did I turn that off then? I'm starting to forget things now. 48, all downhill now. So there we go. Look at that. Maybe there'll be enough there for a few days rather than 2 days. Getting really hungry now, so I'm going to put that onto a low heat for about 10 minutes. And then I'll have some of that for my dinner. In the meantime, I think I may start to clean up. I went into London the other day, on Monday evening I think it was, to go and see a show, a comedy show, and comedy charity event show. So there's no point me telling you about it because it's gone now. It was okay. I went in and I took my camera in because I thought I'll do a bit of filming to show the streets to see how busy it was. And I've done this a few times. I took the camera in after the show had finished. I thought I'll just go down to Trafalgar. So I went to Trafalgar Square and then realised I didn't have a SIM card in the camera, so I couldn't do any filming. But then I realised I had my phone with me, so I did do some filming, and I'm surprised, but London is still quite quiet. But to be honest, I quite enjoyed it. I was going to show you the cat, but it's gone. This is a new addition to the old garden here. Here's a rotary line, very 1970s. That's a way of us trying to keep the bills down, to not use the, what do you call it, the dryer machine as much. There she is. Which one is this? Can we tell? This is Amber. Amber with the amber eyes. Oh, she's off. A bit of action there. She likes to spend time in the garden catching flies. She's on a mission today. Don't know where the other one is. Probably indoors sleeping. They seem to take it in turns. This one has slept for the entire winter and now it's quite active. Where Topsy, who was active during the winter, is now quite quiet. It's as if they have a pact that two of them can't be active at the same time. Rusty came over the other day. Watch her go now. She's gonna spring off into you. Oh, that way. Alright. Yeah, Rusty came over the other day. I didn't have the camera with me, so I couldn't film him. But let's see if he's over there now. Can you see him? Sometimes he'll come and sit on the bench down there. Oh, somebody's dropped their onions. Sometimes he'll come and sit on the bench, but I don't think he is around today. Like everybody else, he's getting old now. He stands on one of these roofs over here. Is he there? No, can't see him. Probably indoors where it's a bit warmer. Yes, it's a shame that I didn't have the SD card in the camera, because my plan was to walk along the embankment, because it was about 10 to midnight, so I was going to walk along the embankment and have a look at all the pretty lights. But yes, it's still quite quiet in London. I don't know what it's like during the day. I might be going in central London in a few days time, so if I do, I'll make sure I've got the camera all charged up and the SD in. But it's still quite quiet. But I noticed during the lockdown 18 months ago now, it was just extremely quiet, even being stood out here. But it's nice to hear the birds. Why is it that the thing that you want from the drawer is always the last thing out? Look at that. Right, that can go off. Might have to wait 20 minutes for it to cool down. I've got a nice flask that I bought the other week for going out on my rambles, but also very handy for just taking down to the allotment. There you go, don't want too much. Look at that, beautiful. Do you want some? Do you want some? Not impressed. Look how fast she can go now. There you go. Whoa. There she is. Hello. I'm going to enjoy that. YouTube have just sent me an email to say that I've got a new feature on my channel. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see below this video there is a thanks button. If you click on the thanks button, you can make a little donation to the channel, help me get out and about, to do my rambles, get further afield. So whatever video you're watching, you think, I enjoyed this, I'll support the old guy. Pop a few little pennies in, and they'll go to the next video, make them better and bolder as we go along. Any parcels? Thanks.
Right,
beautiful. Look, we're all in shorts today. So let's have a look at what just turned up in the post then. The camera's not playing ball today. So let's have a look at what the postman's brought me. I had a belated birthday card for last week. I remember what this is now. Bought this off World of Books, and it is rather appropriate this has turned up now that I'm cooking. We just take the sticker off. Eating for Victory. Never before published in book form, this nostalgic collection of original facsimile leaflets helped to show how millions of people in Britain may do and mend. So look at that. the originals, recipes for breakfast. Well, I'm going to have to go through this and see if there's anything that I can make up. How to make white coffee, creamed salmon, savoury sprouts, beetroot and cabbage soup. Now there's a combination. We're going to have some fun with this book, I know, over the next few weeks. Beautiful. Now I'm going to get on with this now. Right, I'm going to enjoy this soup and I'll catch up with you next time. So from me until then, bye for now.
I've had an email from Mark Burgess. He says, hi, could you email Sean and let him know about the event taking place at Trafalgar Square? They've turned it into a meadow for a day and would be great if he could go and do a vlog for his channel. I tried to send him an alert via his YouTube, but thought you would be able to email or text or phone him or let him know if he could go.